This video is sponsored by PokedownStore.com, the place for all your Pokemon TCG online needs. The new Sword and Shield online booster packs are also available, so definitely check them out, PokedownStore.com. Also, if you use the coupon code ZapDosTCG, you get 5% off your next order. How amazing is that? Check it out. The OCIC is coming up, which deck will be used that doesn't suck. Mewtwo looks good, they're set in dark, when they have no hand yet tough luck. Or how about we use PikaRom, with Quick Ball 8 is really strong. Ultra Prism Star is now the bomb, creating full blitz on turn 1. Maybe we should just mill our foes, Pokédoll is broken so I suppose. Fio will be everywhere, who knows, it's a risky play, but could work, yo. Big Blounce is also OP, trading on tag teams and the Vs. Fireball circles, quick wins you see, what is the best play for OCIC? Zacian, you get out my way, I'ma smack you with a Zacian. I'm using ADP if that's okay, and then a Zacian. When the KOs bring multiple prize cards, I look like I'm sweeping the board, yeah, quite hard. Yeah, so busted right, episode 244, best decks for OCIC. What's up YouTube, it's ZapDosTCG here and welcome back to another episode on my channel. In this episode we're actually going to talk about the top 7 best picks for the Oceania Internationals. This is going to be taking place this weekend, so I'm very excited to see all the new archetypes live, of course, on the stream. There's going to be a huge way people can watch. Of course, we have Twitch, we have the YouTube channel which will also stream, so definitely check out the event and you'll see what's going on in Melbourne. But for now, we're going to check out the top 7 archetypes that I think personally will do well. These are all tier 1 or maybe even tier 2 archetypes that actually will do well at the tournament. So if you don't know what to play at your local league challenge, league cup, maybe there's the chance of you going to Melbourne as well, I'm gonna give you the top 7 decks to look out for. So if you guys are hyped and ready, be sure to demolish the like button. That always gives me the motivation and support, and it also helps out the channel tremendously. Okay, to start this list off, it's a top 7 because I couldn't find more. The other ones are kind of rogue. We have, of course, more Peko V and Lapras V Max, but I don't think those will be very good at the tournament. For now, we're gonna start off with the number 7 spot, and that's going to be Sableye and Obstagoon. This is a list that I created a couple of weeks ago, and I do think it is very good. We are utilizing the Ultra Beast in this list. That means we have an extra good matchup against, of course, Mewtwo and PikaRom, because we have, of course, Baby Boss, which can easily one-hit KO a PikaRom if they are at exactly 4 prize cards. We can force that with the help of Mew, so that's fantastic. Also, Nigaligo can do the same if the opponent is at 2 prize cards. We can copy any attack. Against Zacian, we can use, of course, the Brave Blade attack of a Zacian V, or we can also copy something like the Miraculous Duo GX attack from a Mewtwo to then one-hit KO and then take our last 3 prize cards. Everything's possible with the Ultra Beast, but more importantly, Obstagoon. This is such a huge threat in the meta right now, because almost all the top decks run basic Pokemon, and the Galarian Obstagoon comes with, of course, the attack Obstruct, being able to become invincible for the damage done to it by basic Pokemon. And seeing that all of these lists almost run all basic Pokemon, it's amazing. Why is it not higher up on the list? I do think everybody will tag for this. Because it's just so easy to tag against. You can run Fion and a couple of custom catchers, and out of nowhere this archetype falls apart. That's why we are still making use of the Ultra Beast to make sure we have some aggressive way we can play this deck, because of course we have the sniping capability with, of course, Galarian Obstagoon and Galarian Zigzagoon. If we have, of course, the sniping capability, we have Yveltal, which can one-hit KO any Pokemon with Doom Count GX if they exactly have 4 damage counters on them. And then we have Sableye being able to one-hit KO anything in the format. We do need 2 energies to do that, so hiding behind a doll will be crucial from time to time. But if the opponent has custom catchers, it falls apart. So we also have 1 energy attackers in the form of Hoopa, and we can even shut down Mewtwo in the form of Mimikyu here with Shadow Box. So this deck has the utility and actually has everything it needs to just win. So that's why I'm still putting it here on the number 7 spot. This is my pick if I want to have a lot of fun. You always have to calculate damage counters. We have Shrine, we have Galarian Zigzagoon, we can even use Deep Side Power from time to time to just drop some damage counter. So it's all about Obstagoon using Obstruct, hiding behind this attack, and then finishing the job with the Ultra Beast, or maybe one of your heavy hitters in the form of Sableye V. Alone Obstagoon is also recommended, but it's very scary since the opponent will be running Fion, will be running custom catcher, so that's why it's only on the number 7 spot. I'm just gonna go briefly over these kind of decks because we already talked about them before on the TCG online match, so definitely check out those videos if you want to learn more about how the deck functions. Next up, my number 6 spot is going to be Ability Zard. Ability Zard 2.0. This is an archetype that actually never went away. It is still doing very well. And why is that? Because a lot of things go very well for this card. You have, of course, the Zacian V being weak to fire. It helps that a lot. You have, of course, the way you can deal with PikaRom in the form of Megalopunny and Jigglypuff, although the PikaRom players might also run, of course, the Tapu Koko Prism Star, so not Prism Star, the V Pokemon, so that is not a GX, so be wary of getting out your Megalopunny in the early phase of the game. But lots of these matches will be played with lots of Dedenne on the field, and that's where Megalopunny will shine to one-hit KO PikaRom. We, of course, have the best gusting in the game, thanks to Ninetales with the 9 Temptations, and we have a slaughter capability in the form of Victini Prism Star. This can one-hit KO any Pokemon if we get enough fire energies in our discard pile, and with 18 fire energies inspired by the list of Tord Ratcliffe all the way back of the World Championships, this archetype will still do well. Why is that? There's a lot of these Pokédolls. I don't know if you've seen it, but even Obstagoon runs Lily's Pokédoll. There's even a Cinccino Mill that runs 4 copies of that, and Oranguru to put them back, so yeah, what can I say? Definitely Ninetales is nice. That means you don't have to worry about those Lily's Pokédolls. You just gust around them. We also have, of course, lots of grade 1 prizes. We have Turtonator, Explosive Jet. If you get enough energies to stick on the board, we can Explosive Jet on any opponent and one-hit KO them. The Heatran is nice to absorb energies if you sometimes welded on a Jirachi or a Dedenne early on in the game. And then we have Volcanion. I think it's a must in Ability Zard because the first turn supporter rule does hurt this deck a little bit. But if you go second, I always want to go second with this list. You use the Flare Starter and get yourself flooded with energies, and that means that Hot Burn GX can come out of nowhere, or you just use the Flare Starter onto a Reshizard to then use Double Blaze GX the turn after that. So very scary archetype. It always relies around Welder, so I do think it will still be very well because Power Plant seems to be dropping out of lots of lists, so Ability Zard can thrive from that. Number 5 is going to be PikaRom. Yeah, PikaRom is one of those decks that was very popular in the very beginning that it came out. Of course, everybody used Nazball and even the Marshadow from Shining Legends. Who remembers those days? And actually, I dropped off the radar a little bit thanks to Calio GX and Calyxwell being very annoying in the ADP list. Now those have gone away thanks to the new introduction of Pokemon V, and this also helps out because we run Tapu Koko V, having free retreat, being able to draw cards. It's a fantastic inclusion in this list because now we can full blitz on a non-GX, and this helps us out against our weakness of Megalopunny and Jigglypuff. So this is an archetype that goes very straightforward. We want to use full blitz as early as our first turn if we go second, or our second turn if we go first. So what we're gonna do is gonna use the Tackle engine. Tackle, find of course our PikaRom, get Guzman Hella in the mix, and with Guzman Hella we can get a stadium card that is of course going to be a Thunder Mountain Prism Star, and we can also get a tool card that's going to be our Big Charm or maybe a skateboard for our Jirachis, and they also get a special energy. That's why there's one off unit energy in this list. So you want to use full blitz on the second turn. This is easy as pie because we now have Quick Ball being able to search out that Tapu Koko Prism Star. Very solid archetype, has easy ways of gusting. We now have the custom catchers which we can find easy with Voltner, easy enough. So we have Voltner, we have Oranguru here, the new holographic card from Sword and Shield, being able to protect our custom catchers and our Electro powers before we use cards like Professor's Research. So I do love the inclusion of Oranguru in this list. We even have Absol to slow the opposing Jirachis down. This list has it all, has the total package. Don't have to worry about Obstagoon. You can just gust around it, or you can just use the Tandem Shock to just paralyze the opposing Obstagoon, and if they're paralyzed, they can no longer use the attack, and then you can knock them out. So you have lots of ways you can go about this, and of course, if you're faster than the typical Obstagoon player, you can even target down their Zigzagoons before they evolve. We have Gusting. We even have Zapdos thrown in here, so they can fly to the active position early on, knocking out a Zigzagoon. Everything is still possible, but I do think that getting the first turn full blitz off is just so powerful that not a lot of decks can deal with that. So PikaRom still deserves here my number 5 spot on this list. I do think it's still nice. It also is one of the fewer decks that still runs things like Reset Stamp, because they can easily search them out with, of course, the Voltner. Okay, I wonder if this archetype will do well, but it's definitely a fan favorite here, PikaRom. Next up is going to be what is one of my personal favorites, is going to be Baby Blacephalon. I do think this deck is legit. Don't sleep on it. Typically, you run this list with Green's Exploration, or you would run it with Pidgeotto. Scratch those ideas, throw them in the garbage, because this is the way to go. you just try and use the Jirachi Stellar Rage early on in the game. We have Quick Ball, we have Ultra Space. Finding the Pokemon is no issue, so now we even have easy access to Victini Prism Star or the Blacephalon GX when we need them, and this deck has it all. You just need Welder, just like Ability Zard, but this is a one prizer which can uptrade, and uptrading in this format is fantastic. We have Mewtwo still left to check out on this top 7. We have PikaRom, we have Ability Zard. There's a lot of tag teams still left in the format, and then we can of course forget about Zacian V and other V Pokemon that also give up multiple prize cards, and with Fireball Circus, this card has it all. This actually won me my World's Invite early on in the season, so Blacephalon, a fan favorite card for me personally, and it actually is fantastic still in this format. We don't have lots of gusting, we only have Great Catcher, but we can use Fion to our full advantage. And if you're worried about not taking all the prize cards, you can always rely on Burst GX to getting that extra prize card, and also Victini can put back the energy. So against Mill, try and get this off sometime during the mid game, because they will get up their Wobbuffet, their Wobbuffet to lock down our Victini. But sometimes if they don't get it on the board, it happens from time to time, you can get of course your Victini, get full value out of that. But this deck patched up the weakness of its reset stamp thanks to Lucky Egg. If they bump into this, we can draw cards until we have 7. And I don't know if you realize this, but having 7 cards in the hand while having Blacephalon in play is dangerous. The only thing we'll need is a Welder and a couple of our cards to regain the energies from the discard pile. For instance, Fire Crystal or the Energy Retrieval. There's only 2 Energy Retrievals. You could bump it up to a third one, but I'm just fine having of course extra acrobikes, because consistency is key. You want to be finding that Welder early on. You want to be getting of course all the energies onto your baby Blacephalon. Another good thing about this list is that it draws bazillion cards. As a little side note, that's why it's also my top number 4 deck for the top 7 for the Oceania Internationals. Look at this scenario. They knock out one of your Blacephalons, and it has a Lucky Egg. Good in our case, so that means we draw 7 cards. Then we promote Jirachi, we draw off the turn, we have 8 cards. We use Stellar Ridge, get another cards, we have 9 cards. We use Heat Factory, throw away 1 Fire Energy, get 3 more cards. We are already at 11 cards. Then we use of course the broken ability of Oricorio GX. If one of our Pokemon got knocked out, we can draw 3 cards. That means we're already at 14 cards, and we have not even used the Welder, so it's gonna be so insane. You almost draw your entire deck, so that's why I do love this list like it is. You can also drop down the Pokegear, but I do think the consistency is key, so that's why I'm running a copy like this. Also, this is probably my pick if I had to go to the tournament. Baby Blacephalon is kind of my my partner in crime. So this is the list that I came up with for you guys. So now we're gonna go to the top 3. Are you guys ready? So this is probably the one prizer in the format. The good news is that Malamar also seems to be shining away from its typical build. No longer you're gonna see like Giratina and it gonna spell with spell attacks and all that, because they're too slow. Zacian V can make quick work of that. They can use Altered Creation with the ADP and then KO 3 Pokemon. They're done for. Other decks like Ability Zard can gust up the Malamars, it's over. Other decks like Mewtwo Handlock, which is the deck we're gonna check out later, Malamar doesn't have a good amount of matchups ahead of him, so that's why this Blacephalon thrives from that. Alright, next up is gonna be number 3. Top 3 here. This is a broken deck. It's a mill deck. After a long consideration, I thought like, Pidgeotto Control actually left the format a little bit because of Zacian, but now look at this. Zacian is now its own inclusion in a mill archetype. This is an archetype we checked out on the channel. We're gonna use Make Do, draw all the cards of our deck, and spam Bellaba and Bryson Man until the opponent no longer has cards in their deck and they jack out. That's how good it is. We have answers against Victini Prism Star in the form of Wobbuffet, and we can even use a slightly weird version to win. We're just gonna smack down Mewtwo, use the of course Burning Magma GX from Macargo, which is in the discard pile, and mill 5 cards. So if the opponent is at 11 cards, they're already afraid, because with Lieutenant Surge we can spam 2 Bellaba Bryson Mans, that's milling 6 cards, in combination with of course Burning Magma, that's 11 cards. And this goes crazier and crazier because we run Lily's Pokédoll and even Oranguru to get of course our stuff back. So we hide behind the dolls, set up early game, and the first turn we can even we can always thrive on the attack, actually the ability Interpret Sword to draw 3 cards, and drawing 3 cards while drawing bazillion cards with Cinccino will get you your entire deck, and then you can just use Oranguru, put Palpads in the deck, and start spamming Bellaba and Bryce Man with of course Lieutenant Surge. A very dangerous archetype, and if you don't tech for this, you're gonna lose. So while I drink a little bit of water, you guys should know that this deck does not always attempt to go for the deck house. You can also deny the opponent from energies. And a deck that doesn't have a lot of energies, Crushing Hammer, use Oranguru, put them back on the bottom, and start using all the Crushing Hammers until they run out of energies. That's also a way, but in the end, they will deck out. Very scary archetype indeed. And I'm very afraid of this list. So yeah, if you're playing some kind of a baby Blacephalon list, you don't want to see this. Okay, now to my number 2 pick for the Oceania Internationals, and that's going to be Mewtwo and Mew Tag Team GX Handlock. This is of course Mewmew, as we all know the card with perfection, being able to copy any GX attacks from the discard pile, or if they are in place, so you can use any attacks. For instance, oh, Dragonite 270, Sky Judgment, you can use that. We can use Venom Shot of a Naganadel. We can use a Horror House GX, and that's why I think this list deserves a number 2 spot. Horror House GX is broken. Definitely in a format where the opponent is not being able to play a supporter down on the first turn, we can punish that. If we go second, we just Horror House, the opponent cannot no longer play down a card, and then we just Poltergeist and win games very quickly. So that's why it is my second place inclusion here. We also have, of course, Night Watch, which we're gonna spam thanks to accelerating energies with Malamar. So Malamar has found a new best friend in the form of Mewtwo, so that's why I think this is an insane list. We even have the attack here, Clear Vision GX. If you're afraid of ADP, use that attack. That means that they can no longer rely on the Ultra Creation GX, and they can never one-hit KO. So that's gonna be fantastic. You can even have your Air Balloons switching between Pokemon. It's gonna be fantastic to play this kind of a list. We even have the Mega Lopunny, so we can punish PikaRom players. We can punish ADP players a lot by using, of course, Pale Moon GX, which is still very powerful. If you're able to Great Catcher and then use Pale Moon and they're stuck in the active, they're done for. But the better way is using early on Horror House GX, probably the best GX move in the game, to just slow the opponent down and then KO them. And if the opponent is falling behind so desperately, you can finish the game by sniping off the Dennis with the Naganadel, or using Great Catcher on something important on the bench. So I do think this list is insane. You might be wondering, oh, Power Plant shuts down this deck. Well, that's where you're wrong. You can just simply smack down your Gengar and Mimikyu, or smack down your Trevenant and Dusknoir. Even the weakness it had with Keldeo GX is now completely fixed thanks to NDDV. NDDV can just use Psychic to one-hit KO those threats, and also has the Watch Over ability, which can heal 20 damage from your active Pokemon, which makes sure that the Shadow Box ability from the Mimikyu doesn't bother Mewmew at all. A very, very solid archetype, and typically you will of course use the Poltergeist after you use Horror House, but if that doesn't work out, you can put the opponent to a 0-card hand very quickly. Definitely in the late game, you can reset Stamp together with Night Watch, and they will have 0 cards in their hand, which is the thing you want. Or just use Marnie, a 4-off in this list. You can use Marnie, putting the opponent to a 4-card hand, use Night Watch, and they're left with only 2 cards in their hand. And this can happen as early as your second turn if you rely on Malamar to get, of course, the energies up in play. Even with the Giant Charms, your HP goes to ridiculous numbers, so you survive certain amounts of hits. So this is a very straightforward list, and it does the job well. Okay, now to my number 1 pick for the Oceania Internationals. Could you guess it already? It's going to be Zacian V ADP. This is a list with Zapdos thrown in here. We already checked out how good Zapdos in the specific list was, but I love this list so much. I am not too huge a fan of Pokemon Catcher, but it proved it me time and time again that with a little bit of coin flip luck, you win games, and you only typically need 1 heads on a Pokemon Catcher. What's the chance of you getting triple tails, right? Other than that, you just use Ultra Creation GX as early as your first turn, actually on your second turn. So you attach first, on the turn after that use Ultra Creation GX, and that's where the fun happens, because Zacian V now can go through the roof with 260 damage output. With Shrine, that's 270. Things like Mewmew go down, Reshizard go down. We might have a weakness to fire, but we can patch it up with the Metal Frying Pan, so that's why it's in here. We even have Guzman Hala to search it out. Of course, Absol is in a lot of lists this time around as well, to slow down the opponent that also relies on Jirachi. And we have Interpret Sword, so breaking with this deck is very, very hard, because every single turn that you don't when you don't attack, you can just rely on that ability, drawing 3 cards or accelerating energies if you find metal energies in there. We have Metal Saucer to set up your Zacian in no time, and against those like If we look at the archetypes, yeah, Mewmew, we only need to KO a Mewmew after Ultra Creation, a Mewmew, and knocking out the Danny, and we win the game. That's insane. Also, against Cinccino Mill, we can just KO 3 Pokemon. Don't worry about it at all. The games don't go that insane. We just rely on Pokemon Catcher. Maybe you can use the Fion in here with the Whirlpool suction, striking down another Pokemon on the bench and KOing that. So even against PikaRom, you do have great ways, because with of course the boosted damage output, we one-hit KO PikaRom, because of course they have resistance, but we get the additional buff of Ultra Creation. So this list can actually win against everything. You might be afraid of things like Baby Blounce, but against Baby Blounce, you just use Fion, put the Blounce with the Lucky Egg on the bottom, to the bench, so it doesn't activate, and you can just reset stamp them and knock them out, and then they're just like, oh, I'm bricking. So everything is possible with this list, and I love with this list so much. 4 Marnies and then a split line between Research and Cynthia will have, of course, all the consistency in the world. So yeah, try it out for yourself. This is my #1 pick. I wouldn't be surprised if like half of the top 8 included Zacian, because Zacian is broken either in the Cinccino Mill or with, of course, the Zacian ADP. So anyhow, hopefully you enjoyed this quick video. Actually not quick, it's almost 20 minutes or even more, so depending on the intro how long it is. Anyhow, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to let me know by destroying the like button. Let me know in the comment section what your pick would be if you are going to the Oceania Internationals, or if you are actually making it there. I wish you the best of luck, and we'll see what happens when this new Sword and Shield meta develops in the Western world. Okay, what else can I say? Is that yeah, you guys are what make the channel, so thanks a lot for supporting the channel so much. Subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.